Looks like we're live. All right, let's see. And just a quick test here. We got here, Bunny's here, Rainy's here. Hi guys. Just a quick check here. You guys hear that okay? Hi, Oracle. Hi, guys. Thanks for you to come by. I'm going to play a couple more mic test songs here just in case you guys can hear me okay. Recognize that one? Hi, old Bunny Kaisui's here. I can't hear. All right, I can hear. Yeah, it sounds lovely. Thanks. That was Whimsyland by Phoebe. Actually, had to give her a shout out. And I always like to I always like to finish this with my test song here. So. Just to get everybody to say, Joe, Joe. Thank you. All right, let's get this party started. So, hi everyone, I'm Zeta Flare P, but you can call me Prodia-san. This is how my self-insert character Zeta Flare will look in the Zeta Pro universe with Zolar Flare and everything else. It's kind of interesting performing in a hoppy this time, but this is my color, and he always wears a hoppy to every Zolar Flare and Zeta Pro performance. Oh, Jenny, hi! Nice to see you, and thanks for following me, too. Mocha's here, too. What an all-star cast. I'm so happy you can make it. So, let's get started. I'm going to play 2 songs to start off with. The first one is essentially... Zolar Flare and Zeta Pro's, hi, we're Zolar Flare, we want to share our light with you. This is like their theme song in a way. So I'm going to open up with Smiling, Shining, Dreaming. This is my first unit original song. Hey guys, thanks. The talent. Yeah. Something that we could listen to as a standalone instrumental record. Thank you guys. Okay, next song I'm going to do is sometimes when I choose cover songs, I'll pick either ones for the full unit, for subunits, or for soloists. So take, for example, this next song I'm going to play is usually a Hikari solo. So I ask everyone to set their pen lights to light blue, and the solo songs I pick usually connect to each idol's personality or their interests. For example, Hikari really loves Macross Frontier, and her best girl is Ronka. So for her solo song, I've chosen Seikon Hiko from Macross Frontier. Thank you so much, Kira. Yay! Hi, Julie. Thanks for coming. Look at all this. Thank you so much. Okay, and now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to show you the main presentation. Now it's time for you to show you the presentation here. So, get started with introducing the. Okay, introducing Zolar Flare here. Here we go. With a flare of light that shatters the darkness, shining with smiles as bright as the sun. For everyone's happiness and everyone's dreams will go all out. Together we are Solar Flare! And here they are, all with artwork designed by the lovely and talented son of Vivachu, former Mystic Wish, and Quartesque fame. Look at all these. This artwork is just too beautiful, I swear. Okay. So, talking about Solar Flare, this is a virtual idol project inspired by groups such as Vivachu and Stellar. In universe, they're a San Diego-based idol unit produced by Zeta Flare. In universe, Zeta Flare. It actually began as a solo idol project in June 2019 featuring Ai Sakuraba. So it was just Ai by herself. This was my first drawing of her which I released back in June 10th, 2019. And it actually became a unit project in August, a couple months later, when more idols were added, now has 8 members. And it was created to enter and support the overseas idol community and start composing original idol-inspired songs. So it all started with inspiration from the overseas idol community as well as virtual idol projects. So this is my first drawing of Solar Flare. With the first 5 members were, of course, Ai at the center, and then we got Miyu, Nozomi, Hikari, and Mikan. So those are the first 5 members, and the star logo was actually based on their appearance here. So Solar Flare comes from Z, as in Zeta, and as in a solar flare, which comes from the flare here. So the unit concept was based around social outcasts who found light in the darkness by becoming idols. They wanted to share this newfound light with their fans to encourage them to keep chasing their dreams despite anything that gets in their way. Character concepts were actually inspired by different aspects about me personified. And the sun theme was inspired by my personal desire to be a light in the darkness and bring happiness to others, especially in the idol community. Zeta Pro often challenges some of the negatives of the Japanese idol industry by allowing the idols to be themselves and pursue their own happiness. Atsuko Angel is here, Acacia is here, Akari is here. Hi, guys! Next. And one of the main purposes is to break boundaries and create an optimistic and accepting, supporting atmosphere and keep chasing the light of their dreams. So the unit, as you've seen, started as 5. In January, it grew to 7 when I added 2 more members, and in July, it grew to 8. All but one of their members are Japanese girls studying abroad in America or looking to find a new start, and joined the self-produced indie agency in San Diego, California, aka Zeta Productions or Zeta Pro. Characters and drawings are made from scratch and drawn with pen and colored pencils. As you see. And for lives, as you've seen, I often portray them on my piano, and eventually I learned even more cover songs to better represent the members' interests and personalities. First member introduced is Sakuraba Ai. Her pen-like color is pink and her logo is a heart. She was introduced in June, as you've seen. At 20 years old, she's the heart and soul of Solar Flare, as well as its center and leader. She gives off main character vibes, as a podcast I follow would tell you. Cheerful, outgoing, optimistic, kind, and caring. So she pretty much fits any main character in any main character idol in an anime. Stubborn towards achieving your goals, kind of like Chika and Lala. Very accepting and can make friends with anyone. Believes that anybody can shine regardless of any visible or invisible differences. And in high school, she actually formed an idol club, recruiting members who felt out of place. So they're kind of self-produced and kind of an indie project at that time. Greatest, and easily she's the greatest friend in the world. Always there for her friends when they feel down or need any sort of emotional support. And I leads by charisma rather than example. Everybody gravitates towards her. She's super sweet, because she's super sweet and just a supportive, just really fun to be around. Refers to other overseas idols as her senpai, as some of you might have seen in some of my diary posts. Like she might refer to Kalina senpai or Phoebe senpai, Kuro senpai, all the other overseas idols that she considers her senpai. So I is usually based off my love for idols in general. And that's how, and it all started with her. She loves idol gacha games and is one of the most knowledgeable Solar Flare members in terms of 2D idols. And her main idol image is that she claims her heart has an angel half and a devil half. And the angel half is sweet and cute, but their devil half is bold and sexy. So she wants to be an idol who's kind of both cute and sexy. Not quite as greedy as Kalina Senpai, as she says. Character and backstory was kind of meant to challenge the standards and expectations of the Japanese idol industry, which I've elaborated on that a little bit as I've developed her character, but that's usually what she stands for. Now moving on to her original song, my first original song I released in the overseas idol community. It's Doki Doki Love and Heart. It was originally released in July 10th, 2019, 1 month after I was introduced, and a remastered version was released just last June. So as you could probably tell from if you've heard it, this was my first attempt at composing an original idol song, and it's a typical cute-sounding idol song sung by a main character kind of idol, with many parts revolving around common Wota chants. And it's pretty much a simple love song that represents the angelic half of Ai's heart. And Ai actually has a second image song called Devil's Kiss. Originally released 3 days after Doki Doki Love and Heart, a remastered version was released to commemorate her first anniversary. Hi, Jemmy. Good for you to come. This song was written to allow Ai to show off her devilish and sexy side, and is meant to have kind of a techno-pop sort of feel to it. A remastered release title card actually featured outfits which were the winners of a costume design contest held in May 2010. A couple of followers drew Ai in a couple of outfits, and I chose this one and a second one. Ai has a couple of calls and responses too. She's got 3 of them because... sorry, just needed to turn my fan on here. Ai's got 3 calls and responses here. So, everyone comes along here. First one is, the angel is cute. The devil is sexy. Ai is love. And everyone... I'll definitely show that off later as well, but I just wanted to show some of her call and responses just to get everybody familiar with them. And Ai's got 2 more here. Her second one's kind of Love Arrow shoot inspired, so... I know power, furitaji! Ikuya, lava lava beam! And as she spreads across, spreads her... heart hand across the audience, everybody lifts their arms up as Ai sweeps their beam their way. So kind of think Love Arrow shooting away. And her third is Ai-chan no labi-labi pistol! I'm aiming right for your heart. Bakya! And everyone puts their hands over their hearts and says, Shiawase! And then she says, Takageki! Direct hit. So that is Ai's calls and responses, and I really hope you like them. This is the artwork San drew of Ai, and it is super cute. I love it. Next member is Hikari. So, Hikari was one of the first idols introduced, and Solar Flare was almost a duo project with Ai and Hikari. So, Hikari was the second member I created. Age 20 is the artist and designer of Solar Flare, and she's pretty much the timid autistic girl, so like myself, she's on the spectrum. She's not a very good public speaker and often stutters, once again, admittedly so. Expresses herself and imagination better actually by typing, writing, and drawing rather than actually speaking. But as an idol, she's kind of, like myself, she's kind of gotten over that. But she definitely feels a lot more comfortable writing her expressions visually. Really loves anime, and her mother is a budding voice actress. She's best friends with another Solar Flare member, Shizuka, who she knew from high school. discovered idols through anime and arcade-based idol games, so she likes Aikatsu, Prepara, and anything else that involves around Data Cardis idol series. In fact, she was in the past she was as stated in some of her diary entries, she was bullied for her creativity and hint unusual behavior at school, which led to her shyness and huge drop in self-esteem. So she didn't really. She has pretty bad self-esteem at first, but it gets a lot better as she grows as an idol. Hikari is very prone to crying, even if it's out of sheer happiness. Kind of like Aya from Bang Dream in a way. Probably even more so. Hi, Jazzy. Good of you to make it. I and her mother actually gave Hikari the courage to become an idol. Now has new friends who love and support her to the fullest, and has more self-confidence than ever before. It is based off the fact that I'm on the spectrum myself, stutter a bit, expressing myself better through writing, and didn't have much confidence before discovering idols. So, her rainbow theme actually comes from the concept of the spectrum itself as not only both the autism spectrum, but a spectrum of light. And that's what inspired Hikari's rainbow theme. And now for her original song, Watashi no Niji. This is this is the first album, the first song I released since debuting Zolar Flare as a unit. Released originally last October on in October 11th. A remastered version was released just last Saturday, as a matter of fact, with updated artwork. It translates to My Rainbow. Hi, Kalina. Good of you to make it. Watashi no Nichi is a sweet and uplifting pop song that has very bop vibes. You'll hear it at my Nauticon performance later on, as well as you'll hear it at my Nauticon performance later on. And it connects to, it was based around the theme of how Hikari found a shining rainbow path out of the thick clouds of doubt that surrounded her, taking her forward to a much brighter future. I really love this one, especially how popular it became. Hikari has 2 calls and responses here. Everybody, so for the first one, Hikari just backs off a little bit and she says, I'm so nervous. And everybody all together says, Shikari, Hikari, which means like, hang in there, Hikari. And she's like, yokata, much better. As she comes back, from her shrinking violet phase, and everyone's like, thank goodness, thank you so much. And then when she's feeling a little more confident, she has a second call and response. It's a shining rainbow. So here's how it will go. I kind of might describe it best showing it myself. So it's gonna look something like this. Shining rainbow! Which, like I mentioned, it's kind of like Shang Tsung's friendship from Mortal Kombat 2. And, okay, member number 3, Mikan! Tachibana Mikan is the Gyaru. Introduced as one of the first 5 members. At age 19, she's the choreographer and mood maker of Zolar Flare. She's an upbeat and fun-loving Gyaru who loves bringing happiness to others. Extremely selfless, sometimes too nice for her own good, often putting others' needs well before her own. So, another trait I found with some Gyaru idols, such as Megumi from Million Live. Constantly afraid of being a burden to others, admittedly myself as well. And it turned out she blamed herself for the loss of a close friend in her past, which led to her extremely selfless nature. Has experience in cheerleading, rhythmic gymnastics, giving her a very flexible body, and makes her a very good dancer as well, so that's why she became the choreographer. In fact, she actually tends to do high kicks and leaps on stage depending on what outfit she's wearing. Of course, she's got to wear safety shorts underneath, obvious reasons. Fawns over some male idols, but didn't actually know that much about female idols until I introduced them to her. And sometimes while she enjoys shopping, fashion, and karaoke, she's far more responsible than your average Gyaru who gives off kind of a rebellious nature. Mikan just loves it for the fashion, and she loves it for the fashion. She loves being a mood maker, and that's what kind of inspired her Ko-Gyaru look. Her love for lollipops inspired her candy image. Her image color is orange, and her symbol is a lollipop. So, her concept was inspired by my growing love and admiration for gyaru idols and idols in fashion, and from their carefree nature and interest to how friendly and selfless some of them can be. Now, her original song is Cheerful Girl. It was released last November, and we're closing in on its first anniversary. It's a upbeat and happy techno-pop song, mainly inspired by songs by other gyaru idols. So if you heard like Mecha Going or Radio Happy, that's what became kind of the basis for this song. It not only connects to Mikan's cheerleading history and it connects to how she really wants to be there for others when they're feeling down or bring them happiness. She wants to be essentially their heart's cheerleader. So she wants to be there for others. Now for her call and response. It's a pretty cute one. It's a pretty cute one with a pretty interesting pun. So her call is Makarani anda, and everybody comes in with a peace sign and says "This." This is kind of like yo or what's up in Japanese. So it kind of connects to a bit of a pun here. Next up, our fourth member is Nozomi. Also introduced as one of the first members at 22 years old. She is Solar Flare's vice leader and big sister figure of the group. Very kind and gentle, supportive of her friends. Loves to perform. She has a cool beauty presence on stage and has an air of elegance when performing. She's actually a professionally trained singer and self-taught pianist, so she's the most musically gifted of the group. Oh yeah, Rainy, yeah, she's your best girl. Her color's purple and her logo is a star. Yeah. Solar Flare's primary lyricist and musical/singing coach. She actually once worked as a professional idol, but was fired from her previous agency after gossip columnists spread career-ruining slander, and actually came to America to find a start from square one and essentially start from scratch. Her name was created, Akehoshi Nozomi, was actually created based off the concept of to wish upon a star. Represents my passion for music, as I am actually a professional trained musician and percussionist while being a self-taught pianist myself. Her original song is Ichiban Boshi, or The First Star to Appear in the Evening. Released last December, it's a somber sounding but still kind of uplifting ballad, similar in a way to Yakusoku. It was actually, believe it or not, it was written from a previous composition I scrapped back in my college days. And what sounds like a song of lost love actually kind of connects to how Nozomi lost everything she held dear in the past, but embraced a glimmer of hope in the night sky by making a wish on the first star she saw. This is easily the song I take the most pride in. So many people love it. And I'm really glad of what it's become. Now, here's Nozomi's call and response. So she's gonna say, "Minasan, everyone, the shining first stars in the night sky's name is," and everybody comes in and says, "Nozo-ne-chan will make your wish come true." Yay! So that's Nozomi's call and response. Member number 5 is Kocho Miu. She's the silver member. Her pen-like color is white, and her image and her symbol is a butterfly. She was the last member to be introduced as part of the original Solar Flare cast. Age 18, she's the youngest member of the group and is essentially be labeled as the token mini moe. She's the comic relief of the group. Even though she's 18, she's kind of developed like Nico, so she looks a lot younger, but she really is 18. Love how well thought out each character is. Thanks, son. I definitely wanted to build each character and make them as wholesome as possible. So she's the comic. Miu is the comic relief of the group. Very silly, playful, and hyperactive. And one thing about Miu is that she's the gamer idol. She is extremely passionate about video games. Her father was actually once an avid gamer in his time and got her into a lot of classic NES and SNES titles. She's actually more of a casual gamer like myself, and often makes funny commentary and jokes, parodies, and memes while playing her games. Oh man, you should see me play Pokemon and Super Smash Brothers. That's what kind of inspired this trait about Miu. And her dream is to fly freely like a butterfly, which explains her name Kocho and her symbol of a butterfly. She wants to be herself and do the things she loves and be accepted for it. In fact, in the past, back when she was still in high school, she struggled to find her peeps, and not everybody appreciated her personality and sense of humor. And in fact, it might seem that Miu might not have much of experience as an idol beforehand, but she does have a bit of dancing experience before she became an idol, merely by playing arcade rhythm games such as DDR and Para Para Paradise. Oh, I mean, I meant to say Paradise, not Parasite. Oh, sorry about that typo there. And she was actually inspired by I to become an idol after I watched her brighten the mood in a nearby arcade with her crazy and funny antics. And so she is in charge of running Solar Flare's website and social media pages, and because she's the most web savvy of the group as well, and became good friends with Yuki. The two of them are now Solar Flare skit writers. She represents my crazy sense of humor and passion for video games. Now, oh, I loved writing her original song. This is it was originally released last March. This is the first song I wrote as the pandemic was building up, and I think I really put a lot of heart and soul into this one. I really wanted to bring out I wanted a song to really allow Miu to go all out in terms of how funny and hyperactive she can be, while also connecting to her love for video games. In fact, a couple of sound effects, hint, that I used in the song were inspired by some 8-bit video games. So definitely connects to her song there. I really loved writing this one. Miu's call and response is essentially like Nico's in a way, the fact that everybody says it together. So everyone's like, Mina isoni seno, and then everybody all together say, Miu, Miu, power! Yeah. So that is Miu's call and response. It kind of connects to Nico's in a way, because Nico is her best girl. Okay, member number 6. This is one of the members I introduced in January of this year. As part, I released her earlier than expected because I hit 300 followers earlier, but this is Mitsurugi Yuki. Her color is red, and her image and her symbol is a pair of swords. At 19 years old, she's the Genki girl, hot-headed, and has tons of stamina, often comparable to a shonen action protagonist. And she's often the type to act before she thinks, rushing headfirst into new challenges. In fact, her sword image was actually inspired because she is trained in Kendo, but she's also trained in Aikido as well. And Yuki's defining trait is she has a very strong sense of justice and displays over-the-top hero antics on stage. I'm an ally of justice, and I do not tolerate evil. The Crimson Blade of Justice, Mitsurugi Yuki, has arrived! And she does this while doing all sorts of tokusatsu poses. She really loves tokusatsu, so she's like into Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and all that stuff, coming in with all those flashy poses. In fact, she originally dreamed of joining a hero stage troupe once upon a time. In fact, many of her tomboyish traits actually don't get in the way of her femininity. She still enjoys wearing skirts and frilly outfits, though Yuki is part of Team Shorts, as these new outfits I mentioned kind of connect to Team Shorts and Team Skirt, which is actually inspired by Isles a la carte. Has a growing love for J-rock music. Used to play Bang Dream for a little bit, and play the Bang Dream the mobile game for a little bit. And in fact, her strong sense of justice actually wound up getting her in trouble in the past. She resorted to vigilantism to defend her best friend from bullies, as stated in some of her diary entries, causing her to transfer schools and was ostracized by her peers because of it. She really found a rough time, really had a rough time being accepted after that, but was encouraged by I to become an idol anyway, fighting for justice by countering the evil darkness of sorrow with happiness, hope, and passion. So she combined her love for justice and tokusatsu by becoming an idol instead, and I and Zolar Flare essentially give Yuki the second chance she's been looking for. She's really based off, I have a strong sense of justice as well. I'm always there to defend my friends. Chivalry and backstory was inspired by Persona 5. Hi, Poppy! And she's actually challenges how Japanese society essentially dehumanizes people with criminal records, something I learned from Persona 5 through Joker. Her original song is called Faito Akaidoru! Released last April, so this is the first song I released when we were in full lockdown mode. Akaidoru comes from Aka, red, plus Aidoru equals Akaidoru. So a little play on words there. So it's an intense and energetic Eurobeat style song, which is inspired by the works of a well-known Eurobeat composer. Some people might know who it is already, especially Phoebe, but yeah, that's the person who really inspired this song. In fact, it's supposed to sound like the opening theme of a tokusatsu idol heroine if she had her own TV show. Deep down, represents the kind of hero idol that Yuki wants to become. So in a way, if you heard the Bakinyu Sentai Pai Renja song, it kind of has those kind of vibes as well. Like when I look back at it. And so Yuki's call and response is the one I kind of connect in Japanese because it kind of it's a more of a play on words this way. So Yuki's call and response, she goes, "You sa, you so." Everyone says, "Yuki Sanjo!" So which kind of connects to, it's a little bit of a play on words if I say it in Japanese. It kind of means, hero, champion, Yuki has arrived. Yuki's name means courage. So which kind of connects to her bravery and love for heroes. Member number 7 is probably the most popular right now. Fukami Shizuka. She's the green member, and her image and her symbol is a fish. Introduced in January with Yuki. She's 20 years old and a quiet, introverted dandere. And she's got kind of a Rei Ayanami looking face, kind of cold and emotionless. But in fact, I actually drew her with a bit of a smile for the first anniversary post here, as kind of shown how becoming an idol has allowed her to express herself better. And before, she was not very good at expressing herself and had a cold and emotionless face and kind of a monotone speech. Often makes her appear come-offish and has gotten her into several misunderstandings in the past. But deep down, despite looking so cold, she's very sweet, kind, and gentle deep down. And sometimes often hides her fear of being socially awkward and misunderstood. But and another kind of misunderstanding she gets into as well is that sometimes she's a little too honest for her own good, like honest to the point of being brutally honest sometimes. Shizuka always loved fairy tales since she was very young and grown to love the world of fantasy. She especially loves mermaids and the ocean, often dreams of becoming a mermaid herself. She is actually best friends with Hikari since high school, and was later inspired by Hikari to becoming an idol herself, hoping to change for the better. And as noticed in my diary post for the first anniversary here, which she's shown with a little bit of a smile, she's been able to do that. And she's the main designer of the group, though that may change pretty soon. She's based off my social awkwardness and how I've been a little come-offish at times despite my good intentions. Her image song is one of my favorites. It's called Meruhen ga Hajimaru. It means the fairy tale begins, and was released last May. It's a cute song meant to sound magical and whimsical, kind of out of a fairy tale. It was inspired by the works of a composer who helped write original songs for a close friend of mine in the idol community, and connects to how Shizuka desires to escape a cruel and harsh world that kind of treated her like Cinderella in the past, and enter a magical fairy tale world where all of her dreams can come true, even though she might only be able to see it in her dreams, as long as she believes it exists, as it's there. Shizuka's call and response here. So she's gonna, everyone, lend me your strength. Magical mermaid. Everyone all together say, Meru Henshin! Fairy tale magical girl, Cutie Shizuka, Kira? And now for the 8th member, which I introduced last July. Van Rouge, hello. Koneko is 21. Is the tsundere cat idol, but doesn't nya nearly as much as other cat idols. I wanted to make her more of a tsundere than like a Rin or a Miku. Born from Japanese parents in Vista, California, so she was the first truly American of the group. First, very confident and determined, always dreamed of becoming an idol in the past, but has a very sharp tongue and can be harsh and critical to other idols' performances, but still cares for them deep down and wants them to achieve their full potential. Feels more secure performing in a group often than solo, often hides this insecurity behind her more confident Sun persona. And it was originally made a name for herself as a net idol in middle and high school, posting dance cover videos online. Eventually, she learned to sing and become more knowledgeable about idol culture. And once she graduated high school, she finally formed a dance group. I figured cats were kind of tsundere at times anyway. She first formed an idol dance group just after graduating high school, but it dissolved pretty quickly after their first show. Due to kind of difference in goals, and then Koneko started performing as an underground idol, where she was discovered by Solar Flare and became their 8th member. Having experience as a net idol beforehand, she is Solar Flare's primary auto and video editor. She was inspired by stories of how some overseas idols I've known wanted to separate themselves from hobbyists and wanted to take their careers seriously. And another of Koneko's connections to myself is finding my niche, especially like being a pianist in a world of singers and dancers. She doesn't have an original song yet, but I'm working on one. I'm working on one right now after I get some commissions out of the way. And so Koneko is a little similar to Daya in a way. So Koneko starts off with "Kone konnichiwa" with a little paw print motions at the end, and everybody else replies "Kone konnichiwa." But then Koneko goes all critical and she says, "Geez, I know you can do better than that. One more time." And then "Kone konnichiwa" gets repeated again, and then she with a little tsun, she goes, "Good enough, I guess." So it kind of shows off her kind of tsundere and like put your head in the game here. Now, in universe Zeta. So main color is blue. The image is a piano. Is a self-insert character. Founder of Zeta Productions, or Zeta Pro for short. Producer of Solar Flare, and pianist and composer and arranger based in San Diego. Very passionate about idols and video games, though still admittedly naive and not as knowledgeable about the idols industry as he'd like to be. On the autism spectrum, just like Hikari. Very socially awkward, caused more than his fair share of misunderstandings in the past, and wanted to use his talents to express his love for idols and spread happiness and positivity in the idol community, be it cosplayers, overseas idols, and idol sonas in general. He started off with very low self-esteem and almost no confidence in his leadership skills, but the faith and support of his new friends eventually made him feel like he can accomplish anything he can put his mind to. Self-taught in piano and music notation, graduated college with a BA in music performance as a percussionist, deeply inspired by overseas idols to begin composing himself. I met him at a convention in San Diego while studying abroad and introduced her to the world of overseas idols while watching a certain pair perform, a certain SoCal-based idol duo perform in a masquerade. Meant to be seen in the first-person view, kind of similar to the Idolmaster producer in the games, though that may change in the near future, as you have seen. Next up, subunits! The first one is Love Love Sherbet, which composes of I, Mikan, and Koneko. This is the cute type of the group. They're a sugar sweet unit meant to be eye candy, ear candy, and heart candy. The berry, orange, and lemon ice cream that makes your heart melt. So they're the cute unit of the group and kind of give a playful, carefree image with a bit of sexiness in there as well. The second one is Borealis, which composes of Nozomi, Hikari, and Shizuka, originally called Gaia, but was ultimately changed to Borealis in June 2020, being purple,
blue, and green. And a pale light of green, blue, and purple illuminates the cold night sky. They want to shine like an aurora, so they're the cool unit of the group. Soryu Justice! This is the passion unit, composing of Miyu and Yuki. It represents Yuki's love for tokusatsu and Miyu's love for video games. The Soryu, or Twin Dragons, references Sosetsuryu, which is the Japanese name of Double Dragon. For great justice, we'll fire up the stage, the Twin Dragon Idol Freedom Fighters! So this is like the passion, this is the passion unit. Now for the big moment. We got future plans in store, and the future plans are big. I wanted to add a lot because I hit 800 followers, so you guys are in for a treat. Of course, I've been getting a lot of requests to do voice casting, but ever since the image change, I had to ever since I had a bit of an image change, I had to rework the audition skits. Plus, I want to create an introduction video for Solar Flare and introduce the members and their concept by video, especially on my YouTube page. Especially now that I have I got a song commission from Pure Smile that I plan to use as kind of like their background/theme music. And of course, scout for lyricists and get to work on background tracks for my original songs and kind of build my name as a composer. Story arc and drama tracks, I wanted to kind of build on their characters even more, especially the first story arc is going to feature 8 members of Solar Flare. And now here's the big one. Dun 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 dun! Here comes a new challenger! 4 more idols are going to join the Zeta Pro roster. So we're going from 8 to 12 very, very soon. Drawings are coming soon. 1 will join Solar Flare, the other 3 will form a new unit under the Zeta Pro label. Together, they're going to combine, together all 12 of them form the unit Solar Eclipse, which is a light and darkness kind of concept. The new Solar Flare member will be a sweet plus-sized former caffeine maid named Yakumo Orihime, at age 20, who is good friends with her high school classmate Ai and performed with her in the past, later becomes the group's main costume designer, and will actually replace Koneko in Love Love Sherbet. She's more familiar with Ai, so it kind of makes sense. But Koneko is also going to join Miyu and Yuki, and instead of Soryu Justice, they're going to be called Beauty Riders. So Koneko will kind of act as the Tsukomi to the bokeh of Miyu and Yuki. So she kind of acts if they're a bokeh and Tsukomi team, Koneko is kind of like the straight girl of the group. Like the Tsukomi, compared to the overly energetic Miyu and Yuki. Possible additions for minor characters as well, including a male idol group based off the 4 symbols of Chinese mythology, to be used for competition skits, variety shows, game shows, etc. I always love working on PowerPoint presentations, sometimes based around game shows and variety shows. So these will be kind of like filler characters, and of course, establish myself in the overseas idol community as a producer and composer, which I have, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be working on some songs from people I know. Plus, we got a new unit coming into Solar Flare. They're called Requiem. Hi, Kyoriz. This is a new Zeta Pro unit formed from 3 American-born idols who graduated from an idol academy in Southern California. They're a cool and dark and gothic-themed group inspired by Roselia, Undead, Saint Snow, etc. And so they got kind of a dark theme going here. Due to their Idol Academy origins, most of their songs and covers employ strong harmonics. And there is a shadow within every light, and a light within every shadow. Denizens of the night, descend and sing out. We are Requiem! Requiem! Now, introducing their members. Yeah, so this is their background here. Lilisu, or Lillian Knight. Lillian Knight, better known by the stage name Lilith, is the 21 years old, is the leader and confident. Their leader of the group is a confident and lively black idol with a history in dance once employed by once in a Love Live dance group based in San Antonio, Texas. Her older brother is a competitive gamer with and her cool and sexy succubus image was inspired by one of her brother's favorite characters to play as Morrigan in Marvel vs. Capcom and Darkstalkers. Her color is magenta, and her symbol is a bat. Shimoji Mao, at age 18, but is a couple months older than Miyu, is a half-Japanese, half-Filipino chunibyo interested in role-playing and musical theater, so she pretty much fills the chunibyo of the group, but she's more like an Akko kind of chunibyo. Like, she doesn't delude herself like Yohane, but it essentially becomes kind of like her role-playing image, so she doesn't let the persona kind of consume her in a way. It's believed that she is the persona. Inspired by role-playing and musical theater, bandages covered a burn scar actually become part of her image. They become kind of and an avid otaku offstage who enjoys anime and video games. Her color is indigo, and her symbol is a devil face. Okami Setsuna is going to be the oldest member of the group at 23 years old. She's a stoic lone wolf type who, as seen by her name Okami, she's a lone wolf type who spent some time in Japan or was originally from Southern California, has a past experience as a professional idol as well, and wants to make music her profession. But she had trust issues dating back to her school and previous idol group, but defrosted a little because Lilith was one of the first people to open up to her. Her color is teal, and I'm kind of debating on whether to make her logo a snowflake or a wolf. Now introducing the first main rival unit of the project. This is Chaos Angels! They're the first main rival unit Solar Flare faces in the story, and they're going to be like the main rivals of the first part. They gained a huge following over a year and a half on Instagram and YouTube, so they kind of hit like 5-digit followers very early on. They became super popular. They're based in the Bay Area. They're an all-titled group actually inspired by Baby Metal, Raise a Sweelan, and Melancholia. And King Melancholia. Originally planned to be back in the day when I kind of gave the girls even darker backstories, they were actually originally planned to be a Manhita duo with even darker backstories than Solar Flare before, but the idea was scrapped in favor of the alt-idol image due to the recent image change because I didn't want to accidentally trigger anybody again. And composed of a half-Japanese and half-Vietnamese sister duo called Kirara Shiraishi and Urara Kuroiwa. Their last names are different because their parents divorced and their mother remarried. Kind of like Yamato and Takeru from Digimon. Now we got a Q&A session here. Do we have any questions here? We got the social media plug here. You have any questions here before I close down here? I wish I could play one more song, but I might get cut off. So I was glad to play a couple of songs anyway. And thank you so much for coming here. It's been such a pleasure to introduce my idol concept and play a couple songs for you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Alright, it looks like we're good. I'll check back on Discord later to check some to check some Q&A. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for coming here, and thanks for the follow especially. But I'm going to be performing again very soon at 1 o'clock for Nauticon, so I know it's probably going to get in the way of the... hang on. How soon are we going to see the designs for the new girls? I'm excited to see what they look like. Very soon, as a matter of fact. You know that one drawing I made of I and like the shirt and skirt combo? Along with the other 8 members originally, you're going to see Orihime, Lilith, Mao, and Setsuna in the same outfit very, very soon to kind of introduce them. So I definitely want to beta test a couple of them as well, because I definitely want to make these new girls as wholesome as possible. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. See you later, and have a good rest of the con.